Good morning. Welcome back to Live in the Hall. I'm Amy Henderson with the Georgia Municipal Association, and I'm joined by Luke Gomer, who's the head of our local government services, and there's been a lot of action in GMA around those this past year.
That's correct. We've been through a big effort of getting out and talking with our membership about what they expect from GMA. And this whole effort started, Beth English, our outgoing president, she appointed a task force, which was elected and appointed officials that were to review our effort, and some recommendations have been made to the board, and we're moving forward with those. And we had probably 30 meetings throughout the state.
And these were meetings of all different sizes, all different stakeholders who are, people who are interested in and use the services that GMA provides.
Yes. And sometimes these were cities that don't use a lot of our services. And we really approach services very broadly. It wasn't just some of our fee-based services that are housed in my department, but it was, can we get out and do more localized training for you? Which we got a lot of interest in that.
Okay.
As you know, our municipal official elected training program is very popular. And we have a lot of, Yeah,
I think they had a record of like 1,500 city officials yesterday here at convention who went through training, and then of course there's more training coming up on Tuesday. So those are very popular courses that we offer. But the task force found some other information around training.
Yes, while we had 1,500 elected officials here, we've got closer to 4,000 elected officials. So there's a big group that we're missing, and a lot of our cities are very small.
Correct.
They don't have a lot of resources to travel or to pay for training, and they really want some regional training, probably a couple of hours in length.
Right, so not the 6-hour courses that we offer as the accredited training, but just kind of issue-oriented training. Is that?
That's correct. And we've done some of this as just an experiment, and we had some records training that was very well attended. We had someone from the Secretary of State's office that actually did the training, and that was well attended. We've also had some open meetings training in actually near the Sandersville area.
Okay. So a lot of and taking it out into the state, I believe that was also one of the things that was highlighted by the task force, was that the training needs to be accessible to those folks who can't travel to, Athens or Savannah or Atlanta to get the training, that it needs to be more regionally, locally based.
Yes, that is a lot of what we heard. And while getting the certificates is important, in the smaller communities, they felt like it's really more important for them to actually get those critical issues, get them quickly, and then be able to get back with whatever business they have locally.
Exactly. And I know too, we've been doing more work with webinars and that type of stuff on our website. So people, and I believe that was probably one of the things that even as these meetings were taking place and we were getting input, we were already implementing some of the things that they were telling us they wanted, and one of it was, online training in a way. So we've got some webinars up on some of the issues to help people at their pace, in their own time, learn more about these issues.
Yeah, we've had a lot of success with these webinars. We had one that Sammy Rich, who's the incoming manager of the city of Rome, my hometown, I want to give a plug for that. They do a really great job with code enforcement. And Sammy did a presentation. It was a webinar. It was very well attended, and then we've recorded it so people can access it
whenever
they want to. And I've had a lot of city officials that I've talked to around the state who have gone and listened to it even after it was originally given, listened to the recording.
Well, that's great. And I understand too that after the process of gathering the information, we've got the report of some of the recommendations. I think there's been a group that's been appointed now to look at other services and to evaluate possible services.
Yes. I think Keith Brady, our incoming, our new president, he's appointed a group, which is again elected and appointed officials, and we'll be working with them as we work through the implementation of some of the recommendations. And another recommendation that we haven't really talked a lot about was the interest in cities using GMA as a knowledge resource. I mean, as you know, we've got a great website, but they said the information isn't really easy to find. It's not categorized.
There's a wealth of information, because we really, I don't think there's any other organization that has the history with city government like we do, and has the resources that we do to gather all this information. So it is a lot of information, and I know we've heard sometimes it is hard to find what you're looking for on the site.
And one thing they really were interested in was they want to find out what other cities are doing. So they want to know, for example, which cities have tax allocation districts.
Okay.
So that they can then pick up the phone and call those folks and go, hey, how does this work for you? How did you implement it? Did it really end up being as good as you thought it was going to be? Was it worth the time and trouble to go through it? And that's something we don't really have. So it's more of an information sharing maybe between our members that we can facilitate.
And it's interesting because a lot of that actually happens here at convention. You know, we do the concurrent sessions and the policy committee meetings and the training and all of that. But I think one of the most valuable things at the convention is those conversations that take place in the hallway, where the city officials share with each other, you know, this is what we're doing and this is how it works for us. And so I think what this report probably highlighted was we want more of that, make it easier for us to do that outside of convention.
Yeah, exactly. And when a city's looking at something new, it may not be when convention or mayor's day is happening. And certainly the officials who attend a lot of our training programs, they've already developed relationships with people from other cities, but that city might not be the one that's implemented whatever it is they're looking at.
Right. So what are the next steps coming out of this report?
Well, the next steps, the committee, I think, was appointed at our board meeting yesterday, and then we will meet with them. I think it's going to happen sometime in July. And I know I'm already working on one of the recommendations, which was around possibly an HR type of service. That's something that came up at every meeting, that cities needed help with HR. And if you remember from our interview with Dan Beck yesterday, that's something that LGRMS does some work with. And we also have some other services that could be considered HR, like employment screening, which is widely used by our members.
Well, that's good.
So I think we're going to make an inventory first, so we know what we
already do.
So our members can be educated on what's already available to them, and then from there move forward with some more in-depth task force kind of groups to interview people and figure this out.
So if people have ideas of things that they would like to see, or have ideas on what works well or doesn't, they should certainly be in touch with us at GMA and some of these members of the committee as well. And we'll be highlighting them in the next issue of Georgia Cities as well.
And certainly they can always contact me or Bill Thornton and give us whatever feedback they have.
Great. Well, thank you so much, Lou. And, we're always trying to make sure at GMA that we're listening to our membership, because our membership is what makes us an organization. And so it's great that we're out there getting this information, and we certainly encourage anytime any city official has an idea for GMA or how we can be better service to cities to let us know that.
Exactly.
Right. Thank you. And we're going to go check in with Aileen out on the exhibit hall floor.